All the babies in this hospital are for sale. Choose the one that you like. Let's talk price.
I hope the mothers are not aware that we are about to sell their kids.
No, they are not aware.
Once upon a time, there lived a secret maternity home disguised as an hospital, used in selling newborn babies to outsiders. All they do is kidnap or lure young girls into an underground secret maternity home and get them pregnant, selling their babies immediately after delivery. What later happened to this secret maternity home will shock you. Before I continue this story, do well to subscribe to our channel and comment where you are watching from. I would love to know where you are watching from. Let's continue. From the street, it looked like any other modern hospital in Lagos. Tall glass walls, bright white paint, ambulances parked neatly at the entrance, and doctors in clean scrubs moving with purpose. Families sat in the reception area, some anxious, some hopeful, some praying quietly. Nurses called out names politely, monitors beeped in the background, and the smell of antiseptic filled the air. If you passed by, you would feel safe. You would think this is a place where lives are saved. But behind the clean walls, friendly smiles, and official medical uniforms, something darker was breathing. Lives were being controlled, choices were being stolen, and babies were being produced for a price. No one knew how far the building stretched beneath the ground, or what secrets were buried in its depths. Once you stepped inside, you might never leave the same way again. Welcome to the place people whispered about as the baby factory. At first glance, the hospital seemed completely legitimate. The front section was the public medical wing, reception desks, waiting rooms, pharmacies, laboratories, and consultation offices. Sick patients came in daily. Pregnant women came for checkups. Emergency cases rushed through sliding doors. Everything looked professional, organized, and lawful. To the side of the hospital was a private VIP clinic and lounge. Wealthy patients entered through a separate glass doors, escorted by polite staff. Plush chairs, quiet music, and premium medical rooms made it feel like a five-star facility. Politicians, businessmen, and celebrities visited discreetly, believing they were receiving exclusive care. But it was beneath the hospital, the part no one saw, where the truth lived. Underground, hidden behind reinforced steel doors, high concrete walls, and biometric scanners, lay the secret maternity home. CCTV cameras watched every corner. Armed security stood at every corridor. No visitors were allowed. No phones, no questions. And inside those locked rooms, girls of different ages lived. Some heavily pregnant, some weak after childbirth, some newly brought in, still confused and afraid. Everything underground was calculated. Pregnancies were scheduled, monitored, and controlled. Babies were born, collected, and sold. And in one of those silent rooms, Sarah was already there. The underground maternity home was designed like a hidden facility beneath the hospital, connected through secret elevators and staircases that only certain staff could access. It was divided into different apartments, each serving a specific function in the illegal operation. The holding ward housed newly brought girls. Small beds lined the walls, separated by thin curtains. Some girls cried constantly. Others stared blankly, still in shock from being deceived or kidnapped. The air felt heavy with fear. Then there was the medical observation unit, where doctors and nurses, paid in silence, monitored pregnancies. Machines beeped softly. Ultrasound screens glowed, and files were carefully labeled, not with names but with numbers. The girls were treated less like humans and more like inventory. Next was the delivery suite, a cold, brightly lit room where births took place under strict control. Some girls were heavily sedated, others screamed in pain, but no one comforted them. Once the baby arrived, it was quickly taken away. Finally, deep in the lowest level was the control room, the brain of the baby factory. Walls of screens displayed live camera feeds from every corridor. Digital maps tracked each girl through a tiny blinking dot, their implanted microchip. Sarah moved quietly through this hidden world. She had been brought here months earlier after being told she would receive free medical care and shelter. Instead, she found herself trapped in a system that treated women like products. She learned quickly that silence kept you alive. Curiosity brought punishment. At night, when the public hospital above closed its offices, the underground facility became even more active. Guards patrolled, cameras hummed, girls whispered in darkness, sharing their fears and regrets. And in a narrow bed, Sarah lay awake, staring at the ceiling, refusing to let her spirit break. The small bump at the back of Sarah's neck had always felt strange. It sometimes tingled, sometimes throbbed like something alive beneath her skin. One afternoon, she overheard two nurses arguing in hushed tones near a storage room. "That chip is why none of them can run," one nurse said. "Exactly. Even if they escape the building, we'll find them," the other replied coldly. Sarah's heart sank. That tiny bump was not just medical. It was a tracking microchip implanted deep into every girl's body. It allowed the baby factory to monitor their exact location in real time, both inside and outside the hospital. The procedure had been done under false pretenses. Girls were told it was for health safety or pregnancy monitoring. But in reality, it was a technological chain that bound them to their captors. Removing it was nearly impossible. Placed dangerously close to vital nerves, anyone who tried could die. That night, Sarah lay awake, fingers brushing the back of her neck. She felt trapped, not just physically, but biologically. Even if she ran, they could find her. Even if she hid, they could track her. The realization terrified her, but it also ignited a quiet determination inside her heart. While many girls had surrendered to despair, Sarah refused to be broken. She watched everything: guard patterns, camera blind spots, nurse routines, and security weaknesses. She noticed how security relaxed slightly during early morning shift changes. She studied how certain staff moved freely without being questioned. She formed a bond with Funke, a soft-spoken girl close to giving birth. Funke had been lured with a fake job offer as a receptionist in the hospital, only to be trapped underground. Late at night, Sarah whispered her plan. "We can't all escape at once. That would be impossible. But if one of us gets out, one of us can expose everything." Funke listened, tears streaming silently, half terrified, half hopeful. They decided Funke would be the first to try. During morning shift change, when nurses were distracted and security slightly disorganized, Funke would disguise herself in a nurse's uniform and attempt to exit through the main hospital area. Sarah would create a distraction underground, causing confusion and pulling attention away from Funke's escape route. They practiced in whispers, rehearsing every movement, every breath, every step. At first light, the hospital above buzzed with activity. Patients arriving, doctors consulting, ambulances coming and going. Underground, the maternity home stirred to life. Funke trembled as she buttoned the oversized white nurse uniform. Her reflection in a mirror looked unfamiliar. A scared girl trying to wear bravery. Sarah squeezed her hand. Walk like you belong. Funke stepped into the corridor, heart pounding like a drum. Halfway through the hallway, a senior nurse called out, "Excuse me, where are you going?" Funke froze. Before she could respond, Sarah deliberately pushed over a medical trolley filled with instruments. Metal clattered across the floor. Nurses shouted, equipment scattered, chaos erupted. In that split second of distraction, Funke moved. She slipped into the public hospital corridor, blending with real nurses and patients. Then she passed through the sliding glass doors into the open air. For the first time in months, she felt real sunlight on her face. Cars honked. People walked freely. Life moved normally. She began to run. But deep underground, alarms suddenly blared. In the control room, a red blinking dot appeared on the digital map. Funke's microchip signal. Security sprang into action, rushing toward black vans hidden in the rear parking area. Sirens screamed as they sped into Lagos traffic. But the city slowed them down. Gridlock blocked major roads. A broken traffic light caused confusion. Protesters gathered nearby, further delaying their pursuit. For the first time, the baby factory's perfect system struggled. While Funke fled, Sarah secretly gathered evidence underground, medical records, hidden documents, and camera placements. She bribed a cleaner with her last meal to borrow a phone. Her voice trembled as she called the police, explaining everything: the fake hospital front, the secret maternity home, the microchips, and the baby trade. At first, the officer doubted her, but her details were too precise to ignore. Funke collapsed behind a crowded market stall, breathless and terrified. People stared at her dirty uniform and swollen belly. Some whispered, others looked away. She felt exposed, yet freer than ever before. Police sirens filled the air as patrol cars intercepted the black security vans. Lady Kofi's men tried to lie, claiming Funke was a disturbed patient. But Funke broke down crying, telling her truth in front of shocked bystanders. The officers listened and acted. Back inside the hospital, Lady Kofi sat calmly in her luxurious office overlooking the city. She believed herself untouchable, protected by money, influence, and powerful allies. She ordered tighter security underground, completely unaware that her empire was already collapsing. Suddenly, loud sirens echoed outside. Armed police stormed the hospital gates, flooding into the building. Staff panicked. Patients watched in confusion. Officers forced their way underground, overpowering guards and breaking through reinforced doors. Sarah guided them through hidden corridors, revealing every secret room. One by one, the trapped girls were freed. Some cried, some collapsed, some stood in disbelief, unable to process their freedom. Medical teams arrived to care for them properly, this time with compassion. Funke and Sarah reunited, holding each other in tears, alive, safe, and finally free. Lady Kofi was arrested in her office, her composed mask shattering as handcuffs clicked around her wrists. Cameras flashed, reporters swarmed. Her name, once respected, became a national symbol of corruption and evil. In the weeks that followed, the secret maternity home was permanently shut down. Survivors received counseling, legal support, and a chance to rebuild their lives. Funke gave birth safely in a real hospital, holding her baby close, a symbol of survival, hope, and resilience. Sarah became a voice for other victims, speaking out against human trafficking and illegal baby trade. In the end, the baby factory showed that evil can hide behind white coats, medical equipment, and polished hospital walls. But it also proved that courage, truth, and unity can bring even the most powerful criminals to justice. Moral lesson: never ignore what feels wrong, and never underestimate the power of one brave voice to save many lives. Because sometimes from the street, a place looks like just another hospital. Clean, professional, and safe. But beneath its foundations, a completely different story may be unfolding. If you enjoyed this story, like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing African folktales. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new story.